Hello, everybody. Andrew Field here. Sorry ahead of time that I didn't come out with this sooner. The elections was projected about a week ago, and they tallied they projected at least the rest of the states yesterday. So I know I should have come out with this earlier, and I'm really sorry. Um, and Especially with COVID and the election both happening, I should have come out with it sooner. So I'm sorry about that. My friend Aboud Armadi, has a YouTube channel as well talking about politics that I would highly recommend you checking out. On top of that, he has a podcast that he started pretty recently, and I'm going to be on one of his the newer episodes that's coming out. So I would highly recommend you guys checking out his channel. I think you guys would enjoy it. He puts a lot of time and effort into it, so yeah, go give it a look if you want. So with COVID, the President Trump's chief of staff in the past week, Mark Meadows, tested positive for coronavirus, along with Representative Matt Gaetz, who mocked COVID concerns back in March. He tested positive, so karma bit him. Ben Carson also tested positive. The U.S. on November 6th passed 10 million COVID cases and posted 132,000 cases. And if you think that's bad, just wait until yesterday's numbers. On the 11th, the U.S. reported more than 140,000 COVID cases in a day, which was the new high for the country. And the second wave numbers are nowhere near the first wave numbers. It's technically a third wave if you think about it for the U.S. because um, the first wave was around March to the beginning of summer. The second wave was the jump we got in the summer, and then the third wave's now. But whatever. Everywhere else it's the second wave. So second wave, U.S. third wave, second wave. Um, it's hitting America, it's hitting Europe, and it's hitting a lot of other countries hard. But our numbers are just insane. To prove that, yesterday's numbers for the U.S. reported 183,000 COVID cases yesterday, which is insane. And they passed 11 million cases. So the U.S. went from 10 million to 11 million in a week. We gained a million COVID cases. My state of Illinois reported 15,000, which is insane. There is restrictions coming in states, and Illinois, the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, was saying how he might have to issue another stay-at-home order. He doesn't want to use it, but he's saying that that's the only option left at this point, and I agree with him. I know it hurts businesses to lock down, and it's not fun for people, but if we're going to contain this virus, especially with these crazy numbers, this is probably the best option. Maybe not for the whole country it's needed, but for certain locations like where I'm at, where the numbers are getting out of control. Utah's Republican governor issued a statewide mask mandate. With the U.S. election, went on for 4 days without them being able to declare a winner. But Joe Biden is now the president-elect of the United States, which is pretty awesome. For as shit of a year 2020 was, that's definitely a positive. We go from a guy who is almost an authoritarian leader in America to Joe Biden, who is going to do better with infrastructure, with climate, with coronavirus. He's going to do a lot better. I can't say 100%, but because I don't know the future, but I think he's going to do a lot better with coronavirus, with a lot of other issues. I think he's going to help us to be more unified as well. So very, very great news with that. Um, with the rest of the stuff, the Democrats, kept the House, and it was like 1% chance of them losing the House. The whole election was the presidency and the Senate. Presidency was most important, and then the Senate. The Democrats, thought they were going to get Mitch McConnell out. Sadly, he stayed. They thought they were going to get Lindsey Graham out. He stayed. The person from Iowa, who I'm forgetting now, the Republican from Iowa that they thought they were going to get out, they didn't. Susan Collins, they thought they were going to get her out, they didn't. So there were a lot of Republican seats that were up for grabs that the Democrats missed opportunities on. But there's now runoff in Georgia because nobody got to 50%. So it's going to be decided. And if the Democrats win both of those runoffs, they have control of the Senate. So we'll see how that goes. That's very important, obviously. The Senate, I think that legislation will probably get done because Joe Biden knows a lot of the Republican senators and can probably strike a deal. But a Democrat majority in the Senate would be absolutely huge. So we'll see how that goes. We'll wait on that. But a fun fact, while the results were being tallied and the projection was that Biden is the next president of the United States, Trump was out golfing, which is actually like a perfect ending. And also, something I didn't expect, especially with the pandemic, big crowds of Americans came out cheering the Biden-Harris win. All across the country, people were in the streets dancing and cheering, which was pretty awesome for America, but it was pretty risky. So, but it was awesome to see. I kind of rewatched some clips because I was just astounded that America is at the point now with such a bad president that literally I don't know how many people were in the streets, but thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people were dancing in the streets in America that the president lost. Usually the president is popular and wins re-election. With Kamala, she has 3 firsts. She is going to be the first female vice president. She's going to be the first person of color to be the vice president. She's also going to be the first person of Asian descent. And I think also daughter of immigrants. So she has 4. Biden is going to be the second Catholic president after Kennedy. Trump will be the first president to lose re-election since George W. Bush in '92. That's a long time. Biden's win boosted the stock markets around the world. Biden put together a COVID-19 task force and also named Ronald A. Klain as the White House chief of staff. Klain oversaw the administration's response to Ebola in 2014, among other things. So he definitely has the credentials, which is very important, especially after seeing all the people Trump appointed in the past 4 years. A lot of foreign leaders said congratulations to Joe Biden. That included the Prime Minister of Canada. That included, all our allies, China, everybody. It seems like has congratulated Joe Biden around the world, which is a very good thing. Let's see, where was I? But the president-elect's first personnel choice was Ronald Klain, but he's going to be coming out with that probably between now and January 20th, or not probably, will. George W. Bush, the former Republican president, congratulated Biden-Harris on the election victory, and now every living president has acknowledged the outcome of the election besides Trump. He has not conceded the election, and he still thinks that he's going to win a second term. So he's either on drugs or hallucinating or, just denying to the extreme. I don't know what it is. But either way, Joe Biden's going to be the next president. If Trump doesn't leave, he's probably going to be escorted out of the White House, which would be a pretty fun spectacle. So, Mr. President, if you want to wait that long, let's get the cameras rolling, and we'll see how that goes. But no, we wouldn't want it to get to that point, but that would be kind of funny to see Donald Trump walk away, get taken out of the White House. And then Joe Biden strolling in, but it'd be best if Trump conceded. It's very clear election loss. The total numbers are not even close, as the president said 4 years ago. But we'll get to that a bit later. Let's see. On Veterans Day, Joe and Jill Biden visited the Philadelphia Veterans Memorial. Trump and Melania, who visited Arlington National Cemetery. did not follow Arlington's policy because they refused to wear masks. So Trump screwed up visiting a cemetery to remember veterans. It's pretty crazy. Asshole McConnell declined to acknowledge Biden's victory. I really, really wanted him to lose, but sadly, Kentucky's not the smartest right there for re-electing McConnell, and they have what's that guy, Rand Paul. They've got a lot of bad people. They've also got House. They have a guy in the House who's pretty bad also. But it was really unfortunate that they re-elected McConnell because he's still the leader of the Senate, and if the Democrats fail to take the Senate, he's still the speaker there. So he declined to acknowledge Biden's victory and gave credence to Trump's voter fraud claims, telling the president to go forward with lawsuits because, yeah, Trump is suing, trying to get any sort of voter fraud victory to try and turn the outcome of the election. Fox News cut off White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany after her lies for election fraud. She had a stack of papers. She was like, "Oh, look, it's 200 papers right here of voter fraud." But it's pretty funny that every time they go to court, whatever state that is, be it Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, every state they go to trying to say about voter fraud, they can never prove any evidence, and the judge just throws out the case. So they're at least 0 for 10. They might be like 0 for 12, 0 for 13. It's hard to keep track because they're failing so much. But I don't think they've gotten any cases to go in their favor, and they won't. If you want to know why, it's because the Department of Homeland Security called the 2020 election the most secure ever. Networks were showcasing the ballots being counted in real time. The vote was taking so long because they were making sure that no vote was left unturned. They were, taking their time, which was frustrating. On election night, we were like, all right, hurry it up. But it was better because now with this crap that he's trying to pull, you can say, nope, we took our time. We made sure that the votes were counted accurately and the election was secure, as the Department of Homeland Security said. So, suck it, Trump, you lost, okay? You need to get over it. Like every other presidential candidate ever. Like John McCain did, like Mitt Romney did in 2008 and 2012. You get over it, you move on. The networks recently called Arizona for Biden. Biden, at that point, was 290 to 217 in the Electoral College, which is a landslide at that point. And then yesterday, they projected Trump to win North Carolina and Biden to win Georgia. So the total in the Electoral College is 306 to 232. It's actually really ironic because that's the same number and same margin that Trump won by. In 2016, even though he lost the popular vote by a couple million, he won the Electoral College 306 to 232. So yeah, that was frustrating before, but the popular vote difference now is, I forget the number exactly, but it's definitely north of 5 million. Trump was, it's close to 6 million now because Trump is at 72 million and Biden is at 78 million. So America definitely spoke about this election. And also with Georgia, so with Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, those three states I'm fairly confident were blue until 2016. But Arizona was a huge red state that was a pretty secure red state. But I think people were saying a big reason why Arizona probably turned was his disrespect toward John McCain and John McCain's wife supporting Joe Biden. That was a huge deal. And in the case with Georgia, I'm pretty sure the statistic was that it was red since 1992 as well. And a huge reason people are saying Georgia turned blue was Stacey Abrams, the person who should have been the governor, that got screwed out of her election. Instead of pouting about it like Trump did, she actually made a huge good of that, and she registered. I forget, it might have been like 800,000, north of 800,000 people to register to vote, and Georgia, I think Biden won by 14,000. So that definitely could have caused the election to go in his favor. So huge props to them. And what was it? Some states were really disappointing. Florida, let us down again, like 2016 and 2020. Texas, we thought it was going to be the year because it was close in that between Ted Cruz and Beto, so we were getting some hope. And more people voted in Texas than ever before, even with voting suppression. That was very blatant and obvious in Texas. They still had more people vote in Texas than ever before. We're like, this year Texas is here. But it's not because Texas failed us, but it doesn't matter. It still hurts, but it doesn't matter because Biden won anyway. But the states that hurt were definitely Florida, Georgia, and I'd say Ohio, because Ohio has called every election for the longest time. They didn't call this one, but they called so many elections. So when Ohio, split, that kind of hurt too. But it was a very big differential, 306 to 232. So that's what matters in the end. President Trump announced on Twitter that he fired Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Trump has failed, like I said, over 10 times in court. He's not showing any evidence of voter fraud. And on top of that, the funniest part is there's like transcripts of the court hearings, and the judges are like, okay, can you provide any evidence? And then Trump's lawyers are like, no, we don't have any evidence. And then some of these judges are just like, they're like, what the heck are you even doing here then, So it's kind of funny, but I think he's going to continue with that. And then I don't really know what else he has left. He's currently blocking Biden from accessing, what is it? The most confidential information, like the, top of the top classified information. Harris is getting that for being a senator, but Biden is not. He doesn't have the clearance right now because Trump's blocking that. He's also blocking funding that should be going to his transition with being able to put things together. So it's a huge deal, and Republicans don't seem to be happy about it, thankfully, but they're not doing too much because they're worried that he's going to lash out at them and then screw over their chances with the Republican Party. So hopefully things change with that, and Biden can successfully, have everything he needs when he transitions. Today, Trump supporters flocked to Washington, D.C. for a march. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe protest calling voter fraud, and it's so stupid, but that's probably what they're going to do. The Affordable Care Act was being looked at by the Supreme Court, so Biden delivered a sincere speech on the Affordable Care Act. President-elect Joe Biden posed to place action across the federal government to combat climate change, which is a huge deal, especially with all the damage Trump has done in undoing the Obama policies that were put in place and put us in a horrible position with climate. But, hopefully Joe Biden can undo a lot of what Trump has done and go back toward what Obama was doing with climate and build off of that. Which he can do, a lot himself with executive orders and then also, getting agreements from Congress. Alex Trebek, a famous Jeopardy host, died recently at the age of 80 from pancreatic cancer. Thoughts and prayers to his family, and I know a lot of people looked up to him, and it's sad that another icon has been lost in 2020. He joins Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, a lot of other people, prominent people that have died this year. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we lost a lot of important people this year. And that list is probably going to continue with how bad COVID is. So it is unfortunate, but we got to keep moving forward. A COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer and the U.S. drug company and partner BioNTech proved to be more than 90% effective in its latest human trials. They could ask the FDA to permit wide use of the vaccine by the end of November. Now, it'd probably be, I think they say, until April 2021 until the vaccine would be finalized in testing and distributed to the U.S. population. So we're gonna have to wait a while, but it's a huge deal that they say, that the vaccine is 90% effective or above that. So that seems to be the real deal. So we're just gonna have to wait until around April, maybe, until the vaccine will come out to everybody. So yeah, it's very good news. I hope you guys stay safe in this really crazy COVID climate right now, where COVID is just spiraling out of control, at least in the United States and also other countries around the world. So please stay safe and don't go to big gatherings. Please try and stay safe wherever you can. If you guys liked, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all in the next video. Peace out.